Distractions are our absolute enemy. If you're trying to get anything done today, distraction is what's going to stop you from doing it. Now, what do I mean by distraction? It could be anything. It could be the alert on your computer that makes you pick your head up and start checking email and then clicking on links and going down a road, and the next thing you know, you're a half an hour away from what you should be doing. It could be noises outside the window. I know if I hear something here while I'm in the middle of doing a video, I lose my train of thought and I have to start this whole thing all over again. It could be the people around us. That guy that knocks on your door, you know, the one that every time he walks by, you know you're just into a 20-minute conversation. It could be negative conversations with people. If you're hanging out at the smoking hut and you're smoking, and someone out there is complaining constantly, and it just brings you down and invades your mindset, and the next thing you know, you're down this road that you don't need to be down. You just need to do your work, right? It could be anything. It could be those things that you use to procrastinate from what you know you need to be doing. I find creative ways to not do videos like this. I, in the past, was incredibly addicted to TV. I would sit and watch 2 or 3 hours of TV a night. That for me is a major distraction. And now, as I look at my day, I have no idea how I found time to do that. I was doing it because I was unaware of what I needed to be doing. Or I was aware of it, I just didn't care enough. So that was my big distraction. And it still is a distraction. I still have to say, today I'm not going to watch TV. I'm not going to watch anything on my iPad because I have other things to do. Distractions come in a lot of ways. If you're a golf fan, if you watch golf and you see, Tiger Woods, when he was at the top of his game, if somebody made a noise in the crowd or if a squirrel farted in a tree, he stepped away and looked angry in the direction of whatever the noise was, and then he'd readdress the ball. And I always laughed about that because my thought and the thought of the people around me was, you're a professional, you should be able to avoid those things. What's come on, don't be a baby, just hit the ball. Well, that's the way the average person looks at it. Just do what you got to do. But when you're trying to operate at the top of your game, when you're trying to develop flow and focus on what you're trying to accomplish, those little distractions are huge. And I actually first noticed it while I was golfing. I'm a terrible golfer, but I know that if I hear a noise on my backswing, that ball is not going to go the direction I want it to go. So every time it happens and I continue my swing and hit the ball and it doesn't work out, I think to myself, I know I needed to stop. I know that I was being distracted and I needed to stop. Another situation for me, I was interviewed for a podcast recently, and I was walking around hearing my shoes squeak. And that little noise, thankfully it happened in the pre-interview, I had to take my shoes off. And then I started to think, well, what else could bother me? And I decided to go to the bathroom so I wouldn't have to pee halfway through and think about that for a moment. I took off my watch so it wouldn't make any noise or buzz on my wrist. I turned my phone on Do Not Disturb, my office phone. I closed my door. I told people that I couldn't be bothered, that I had to do something, and that I was going to be locked in my office for an hour. I tried to avoid anything that could take my mind away from focusing on what I needed to focus on. For you, it could be anything. It's something different for all of us, but we need to identify those things so we can move forward. And I have three ways to help identify those, and it kind of goes progressively. So the first thing you have to do is identify at least 10, try to go for 20. 10 things that on a daily basis take you away from what you need to be doing. So it could be the major time-wasting distractions that I talk about, like TV. For me, that was huge. And I needed to look at myself and say, do I need to be watching this TV show, or do I need to be getting my stuff done because I need to feed my family and I need some financial security for myself? or because I'm tired of arguing with my wife about things that I'm not getting done, or because I need to spend more time with my kids. Whatever that reason is, it should be bigger than that watching TV, and it was. So I had to stop. And now I can't even imagine doing that anymore. For you, it could be your phone. It could be the noises that go off on your phone. For me, email is a big one. In fact, it just happened today where I was about to call somebody on my phone and an email popped up and I clicked on the email. And I followed the email, I read the email, I clicked on the link, and I got to the website and I realized I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be calling somebody. I have other things I need to be doing. I need to be calling this person, getting this done, and then going on to my next thing. I can't be reading this website right now. So it's that identifying it in your mind so that when it does happen, you will back away. You'll say, no, I know this is not what I should be doing. And it takes time. It takes time. You're going to find yourself down the road further than 10 seconds. You might be a half an hour into a negative conversation and realize, I told myself I would not get into this. I wasn't going to get into the conversation about fantasy baseball or fantasy football. I wasn't going to get into the conversation about what's going wrong in Sally's life today. I have other things I need to be doing. And it takes time to write those things down, identify them, and kind of review that list. And as it's happening, go, no, I agreed with myself that I wasn't going to do this anymore. So then number two, the second thing that we need to do is be aware and observe ourselves as we are focusing on something. As we're trying to get something done, we need to realize when we're being broken away from that. So one of the easiest things for me, and I observe it in clients' offices a lot, especially if there's an open door policy, where we'll be having a conversation, we'll be having a meeting about whatever, and somebody will walk in and say, hey, blah, 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 and then they'll leave. And then everybody in the room has to go, all right, what were we talking about? And then the conversation takes a while to get back on track. That can happen with you when you're by yourself. If you're sitting at your desk and somebody walks in and starts talking to you, it's going to take you a while to refocus. In fact, some studies say it can take 18 to 25 minutes to re-engage in that sense of high concentration. So if you think to yourself that every moment an interruption happens while you're really focused on a task, every moment an interruption happens, it's going to take you 20 minutes to get back into it, that level of productivity that you were in, then you start getting protective of that because you realize everything that happens, you're wasting that much time. So, for you, trying to develop what that little thing is, like Tiger's squirrel farts, trying to realize what that little thing for you is going to take a little bit of time and awareness. But as you're focusing, you're going to go, oh, there it is. And you're going to add that to your list that you created in step one. The third way that you can identify and avoid distraction is to develop a good process. And you can see this again using the golf, the golf example. When a player goes up to the ball, there was a study done that says that the player whose routine didn't vary within a certain amount of seconds. So the players that had the most rigid routine had the most consistent ball flight. Another very good example in the sports world, and sports is an easy way to explain all of this, is Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps' pre-meet routine, pre-competition routine, is locked in. He knows what he's doing every moment, what song is going to be playing at that moment in his headphones, and he knows everything that's going to happen all the way up until the time he jumps off of the platform into the water. Why does he do that? Because that's how he gets consistent results. And when we do that in our daily lives, that's how we identify what breaks us out of that level of concentration. If you can develop a routine where you have a certain amount of quiet time, for me, I've gained up to 3 to 5 hours of time where I can focus at this point because I've blocked it off on my schedule and I don't allow things to invade my space. My phone's on Do Not Disturb. I don't check my email. And when I develop that consistency and that routine, when something does interrupt me, I can identify it and go, oh yeah, okay, that's a new one. And for you, it might not be. You might not be able to get 5 hours. I never would have been able to do that a few years ago either. But if you can block off a half an hour, or develop some sort of routine around a task that you have that you need to focus on, and then when somebody or something gets into that space, into your headspace, and starts pulling you away, you're going to be able to say, okay, that's a new one. There's time leakage there. At home for me, a lot of times it's my kids. My kids will come running in the room and they'll ask me a quick question, and a couple of years ago I would have answered it and gone on with my day or whatever I'm doing. But now, as I'm developing this awareness of where I'm losing time and losing concentration, I'm also telling my kids, hey guys, I'm going to be in my room for a half an hour. Let me finish what I'm doing. When I come out, we can talk about whatever. And you really start to become aware of these things, where before I was being nice and I was giving them or telling them what they should be doing or whatever. Now I'm not doing that, because I know I need to get my stuff done. And then when I get it done, I can go spend time with them. I have more focused time with them because I'm done with what was weighing on my mind. So the 3 steps are: identify your obvious distractions and write them down. Number 2 is to strive to identify further distractions as you go through your regular daily process. Just think, as things are happening, what's knocking me off. And then the third thing that takes some time is to develop better process around what you need to get done. So try to have a more rigid schedule around whatever you need to do. And it's hard to talk about stuff when I don't know exactly what you do. If we were having a one-on-one conversation, we could talk about this, and maybe in the comments you can ask. But try to develop that rigid routine, and when you do that, you'll develop that last bit of time leakage that you have in your life. So where do we start? So those are your 3 steps. Where do we start? I think you start, number 1, identifying the priority things that you need to finish. So write down 3 things, up to 3 things that you want to accomplish today, and then after that, you write down the 5 distractions that are going to most get in the way of you finishing those 3 things. And if you can do that on a daily basis, I think that you'll gain a lot more awareness of what is stopping you from getting done what you need to get done. So remember, distraction is our main enemy, our main problem with getting the things done that we need to get done. If you want to see more videos like this, we'll keep posting them here, but also you can go to our website, www.definemyday.com, and we have blog posts there that we talk about this all of the time. So check us out, and I will see you next time.